So my very warm welcome, Lisa and Aroused. We're going to talk about the 7th chapter today, and I'm going to start with I'm saying I'm warmly honored to have you. You're in different parts of the world, and it's just amazing. It's such a support for me, and also interesting for the people who will be listening to hear your reflections. So if you can introduce yourself and where you are, and possibly a first reflection on the book, or like the peak that you have done now. Read one chapter. Yeah. Who's going to start?
Okay, I will start. It's an honor to be here with you, and I actually got the text just a few minutes ago, and I'm still with tears in my eyes. It's like so moving what you have written, and so I'm very happy to be here with you, and I'm looking forward to this discussion. And this is a big interest of mine, this subject of sex. And I did my research in my bachelor education on sex education, and then I have been interested in this subject. I wrote the educational material for sex education in Icelandic elementary school. So this is amazing, but this is a big step forward from what I have been thinking about and writing about, even though it was very controversial what I was doing. Then I did this interview with you about this subject of sex every day, and I was so stunned, and it was the most amazing thing I ever heard. So I'm very happy and this is opening up a new world for me. So thank you for inviting me.
Yes, beautiful. What is it, if I just can ask at once, what is it that is like moving you? Would you share that? What is it that?
It's this, actually the writing is excellent. It's smooth and it's very authentic, and I like that. And it's very, you are vulnerable and true to yourself, and humble, and it's actually I like the attitude very much, and then the idea of the sex being without shame. I love that idea. And then there's a little bit of envy. I have to admit that I really need a man.
Yes. Yes. And we will share more, but would you like also to say you are placed in Reykjavik, and would you say something about what you work with or who you are for people in the world right now? You want to?
Actually, I am working in a television station doing programs on traditional things, and about all kinds of soul searching that we do. Mainly, that's my interest in life, actually. And I'm a mindfulness teacher. That has been my subject for many years in my work, and I'm doing my PhD on mindfulness. And maybe I also went, I did an interview about mindfulness and sex, because I think we wouldn't have any problems if we were mindful doing sex. So maybe we will connect or find a way to do a program together.
Absolutely, it's very connected. It's very, very connected, and Lisa will pick up there because it's completely connected. So thank you, Aroused. Lisa, would you like to introduce yourself? And yeah.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of you. And Matilda, thank you for inviting me to be part of this. I feel so honored and blessed to be here with you. And isn't it amazing, like, what is going on in the world? I'm in Reno, Nevada in the US, and it's like, you're like way over there, you know, and yet here we are together, and it's beautiful. It's so, I'm just so thrilled that we have the technology that we have today as we're going through all the things that we're going through in the world. And it's phenomenal. It's amazing. I'm so in love with all the things that are opening up, the new possibilities that are opening up for us in this world. So again, my name is Lisa Rossolei, and I am a Tantra educator. I've been teaching Tantra for 15 years now, something like that, and 12 to 15 years, something. And I, you know, I'm just, just the quick little reflection on the part that I read is like exactly what I want to bring more into the world, is this releasing guilt and shame. You know, so I work with people a lot, and it's so amazing to me how much guilt and shame there is around sexuality, which in my mind doesn't make sense, but yet I have so much empathy for people out there with it. And I'm sure, you know, I have my own guilt and shame around things as well, but it's interesting how sex is so prevalent in our world. I mean, none of us would be here without sex. It's just not possible. We wouldn't be here without sex. And now we have all this guilt and shame around it. What is that? And in the Tantra traditions, in what I'm looking at with spirituality, our sexual energy coming from that second chakra is what fuels, it's rocket fuel for our spiritual awakenings and for our spiritual processing. And being a spiritual being, we have to have all of this. We're a full, it's expansive. And so without the sexuality in there, and, you know, for whatever reason that sex got this thing of being shameful, and we should be ashamed of ourselves for having the sexual energy, you know, that's baffling. But what is the solution? And that's what I'm after, is the solution. And Matilda, I think what you're talking about in this book is a part of the solution. You're actually being a part of the solution worldwide as this book comes out and more people get to read it, is that there is, like, let's release our guilt and shame around our sexuality. And sure, I'm sure there's stuff that we need to do, and there's, you know, work. I'm trying to get off this work thing around it, because I've been reframing for myself. It's like, I don't want to work on myself anymore. I'm tired of the work piece. I want to open into a playful discovery of what this life can be, fully embracing all aspects of me. And so that includes my sexuality. And so let's play. Let's have fun with that. Let's play with our sexual energy. And I know that what I have seen in my experience in teachings and whatnot, when I say, let's play with our sexuality, everybody is like, whoa, what does that mean? And it means that your sexual energy is really your creative life force energy. That's what we create with. Not just a baby, but we create this life with our sexual energy. So let's open up the doors and be even more amazing in our creative processes and what we're bringing forth in this world, and just thrive. Let's thrive. And so that's what I see in the book. That's what I'm seeing. And I love how vulnerable you're being. I love the pieces that you're coming out and saying, these parts of, like, this is scary. This is, like, I have fear in opening up in these spaces, because what will happen? And we can talk more I know we're going to talk more about this as we go. This is just the intro, but But that's what's really interesting to me is like, let's look at what those fears are so that we can crush them.
Yes.
Get those fears out of here. Get rid of those fears. We don't want those. Go away. And have really amazing tools to do that with. That we can actually have a process that when the fear comes up, because fear is going to come up, that's part of being human. We're going to have fears. We're going to have limiting beliefs. We're going to have doubts. But when those come up, what do we do with them? And that's part of what I teach is that, you know, there are beautiful techniques in how to crush these limiting fears or limiting beliefs and how to crush our fears and how to, and not just crush them, but actually work through them, let them go through our bodies as they were intended to do. The body is an amazing tool for us to process these emotions. Let the emotion go through us and go on to the next thing.
Yay, 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 yay. Fantastic. There's so many points we will share later on. So beautiful, beautiful. We are going to share now more about the chapter which is called number 7. It's called Living Aroused. And to me, it's just so exciting just to say that, you know, just to say the words to, wow.
Aroused.
Yeah, like, yeah, aroused and living aroused. And, you know, the whole writing has been this, I have for many years not understood, how can I share? Yeah, and the whole mix now, which you have looked at a little bit, which becomes like points of thought mixed with the sense in the moment. You know, it's become, and I had no idea, will this talk to someone? You know, but so I'm interested in how this comes across, and yeah, let's reflect on this chapter.
I love that part when you were talking about the embarrassment, because it was like mind-blowing for me, because I connect, you know, I'm there, you know, and I feel so actually thinking about it, and you talking about it makes it easy now to take a new step.
Yeah.
And you know, I love that part, talking about the embarrassment that we are, and the shame we carry around with us about being aroused. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, this was part of the journey, which was very like defining, because after my dear partner invited to this game of this daily activity, my body started to open up and all these different kind of orgasms, and I had no idea what was going on. So it was for real that I thought something might be wrong. You're not supposed to feel this way, you know, feeling like fire, you know, in my whole sexual area. I thought I needed to take it away, you know, shouldn't be that way. Mm-hmm. So that was part of the journey, to start to find trainings and other things to understand and be able to talk to people that. And today I'm just enjoying what's going on. So and I had no idea this was possible at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lisa, you want to keep reflecting on that part?
Yeah, so I love that piece, because, you know, releasing that guilt and shame, coming into this place of embracing your arousal and how that moves through your body. And I know that you've done some work. I mean, Matilda and I met in Bali. We were doing a Tantra massage course that I was doing. It's really interesting, because as we develop more and we open up these spaces, we realize that we can move that sexual energy through our whole body, and we get to amplify it and do all that. And that's what I see, even in these words that I read in this chapter, is like how you're just opening up that, blossoming that. It's so incredible. I love this chapter. I love living in arousal. I love the title. It's so amazing. And there's that piece of the guilt and shame. There's that piece of the embarrassment. That's that piece that, like, what's wrong with me? What is this going on? So again, you know, that whole coming into this chapter, coming into this whole book, being a solution for people to see that this is not, there's nothing wrong. This is part of how we're supposed to be. This is what we get to do. You know, we get to live an orgasmic, blissful life. That's my goal, you know, is to share more of this, living orgasmically blissful, which living in arousal, all of those things, activating this body and awakening so that those senses are even more turned on. That when I can look at, I'm looking at the tree outside my house, and you know, when I look at those leaves on the tree, it's orgasmic. Like, I can really feel that orgasmic energy going through my body because it's so beautiful and sensual and all of the things, rather than going, oh, it's just a tree. Right? Being able to really embrace that. And how we do that is by becoming more in our bodies, more aroused, feeling the arousal, and not shutting it down, not putting it away.
I have a really great question, because you have trained yourself in many years. I have also trained myself. I know the question is there. How did you get there? You know, what journey was there for your, this is what the book is about. For me, it's to giving away my journey, you know, but is it possible, could you like share something about how you know, how do you do that?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. You know, it's interesting because my journey, I was, when I came into the world, I think I was very open sexual being, and my parents were older parents, and they were doing the child development thing and all that. So they were open, like they just let me have my experiences. So I didn't have the guilt and shame built in until I got to school. And then you start seeing things with others, you know, kids going, what are you doing? You know, that's not normal. And those kinds of things that, you know, society places on us, and we start watching TV and all those things that happen. So for me, it really was, I felt that connection with my higher power, with God, and I felt that deep connection. So I didn't take on too much of the guilt and shame around sexuality. Now, other things, yes, but around sexuality, I'm pretty much there. And I learned, because I was this really sexual being, I learned I had to tone it down around people. Like I had to, like that, these people weren't accepting of it, and these people were this, and these people were that. So tone it down a little bit and do these things. However, when I hit my I was close to 40, or right at 40, and I took my first Tantra class, and I was like, oh my gosh, where have you guys been all my life? and then it opened that whole world back up, and I was able to fully embrace my sexuality in a totally different way. Now with my children and their friends and everything, I was the mom that all the kids came to talk about sex. I was the mom that everybody, and my kids were pretty cool about it until they got a little bit more in their teens. They were pretty good. And then in their teens, they're like, mom, you know, because they were experiencing all the things that you experience. So I think through all of the child raising, you know, watching my kids go through that, watching myself go through that, you know, that was all part of it, you know. And so those things happen, and the guilt and shame. And I know for myself, one of the things was really coming into the Tantra world and being embraced by other people that had similar experiences. So like for me, I have Amrita, right? That sacred nectar of the gods that comes through female ejaculation, that comes through just freely and easily. It just flows. Like I'm in meditation and I have flow. The Amrita actually comes through. But I never had anybody to talk to about that until I found Tantra. And then everybody was talking about it, and I was like, you guys know about this? Wonderful. And so those things, so I think finding our like-minded tribe helps us to embrace more of our sexuality and finding the people that we can talk openly.
Yes. Great. And my journey is described in the book as what I found first was the ISTA trainings, and then the armoring, and then tantric massage. So it's all about like finding ways to like de-arm the body. And then the most fantastic things about the tantric massage is that pleasure is a way in transformation. I find it so, it doesn't have to be like work hard on yourself, like you say, Lisa. The amazing thing and that's also the whole book is about describing that it's possible to have more of bliss in everyday life, and it doesn't matter together with someone else or alone. It's starting to be conscious and mindful as this, like enjoying oneself more during the 24 hours. Yeah, please go on.
I like it when you talk about being moved. It's all about, like reading this moved me, and listening to you moves me a lot, because I'm learning a lot. I think there's a whole world that I need to explore now. A new world. So yeah.
Yeah, and what is the new? What is it that you hear? What is the new?
I like the idea of meditating and having this blissful experience. And I am close to it. I can feel and I know I'm on a journey now, learning more about the energy and everything that we can experience that we don't know of, and that's what's interesting to me.
And it's so, what I've also find so amazing is that I had no clue. And maybe there are more people who have no clue that instead of having pressure or hurt or a must or something around this beautiful field of sexuality, it's possible to have it into like being in a dance with someone and following your own, like allowing arousal to be during the day, and like meeting your own pleasure, and even with the dance with someone else also.
Yeah, but I hear from you, Lisa, that this doesn't have to be with someone else. You can have this tantric experience all by yourself. I'm interested.
Absolutely. You can so have it by yourself. And I think that it's important for us to discover it by ourselves initially. I think that the more, like Matilda, in your book, you're talking about your arousal. You're talking about these things. And I mean, I know that there's some pieces of having the lover and doing those parts, but really embracing your own arousal, like noticing the sensations that you have in your body. I mean, I have sensations going on in my body all the time, right? I mean, I feel this thing in my knee and I'm like, oh, there's that. And that's okay. Like, I can talk about this, right? And everybody's like, oh, your knee, blah, blah, blah. But if I said my nipple, there's a hesitation. There's a holding back. And for me, that I'm curious why we do that. And also, I'm also very much about teaching people how to overcome that, to be able to talk about their nipple. And Tilda, as you were talking, I was thinking about, arousal, and think about the kids, like when that boy goes up to the chalkboard. I know we don't have chalkboards anymore, right? Dating myself, but going up to the board and he would be aroused and have an erection, and what would happen? The kids all laugh and all of these things happen. But what if that didn't happen? What if it was like embraced? It's like, whoa, Johnny's excited to be here, you know, he's really feeling his body, and he moved that energy through his body rather than tried to contract and hide from that space. Now, I don't know, you know, I don't have all the answers for how we get there, but I certainly want to get there and be able to embrace our bodies the way that they are. You know, think about, I mean, I think about all kinds of things that we have guilt and shame around and in our bodies. And so let's open up that space. Let's open up these conversations. Let's have more of these conversations. Let's bring more books. Let's birth more books. Let's talk and get it really out there that this body's pretty freaking amazing. You know, we get to be in this body, and let's embrace all parts of it, including our sexuality.
And this is also possibly like a new upgrade for us. We have not had the language, we have not had the wisdom. We're like upgrading ourselves into what if it can be all okay from the beginning of life to have sexual, to kind of say yes to that sexual energy is running in the body, even when you're a kid, like you say, Lisa. So just knowing that excitement or horniness or being turned on, it's something good that is there. And for those who feel the best, it's there all the time. You know, it's like it's something that is beautiful, and it's also brings well-being. It's like all the body chakras are open, and the energy is flowing free. And I had no idea that this state could be in every day, you know. So just starting to talk about that is possible, and that we can, both men and women, can circulate the energy. We can have the energy running like a circle inside, and that's like, to me, that is normal state today. Yeah. So that's how it is.
So do you think this is a new, are we living in a time that this is happening? Because I'm thinking about my parents, you know, I never saw them kiss each other, or, you know, and sexual energy was something I never experienced, never, ever. So I'm thinking, are we moving forward to new experience? You know, there's something going on.
Woo! There's something going on, Lisa. What do you see? How do you feel about it?
You know, that's such a hard question, because there's such a vast amount of people that are going through different processes, right? And we have so many different things happening. And, you know, when you say that, like, you didn't see your parents hugging and kissing, it's like, it's so sad to me, but that's more the norm. That's more the norm. My parents, they were very affectionate. They loved you, you know, they showed their love and sexuality quite often. I mean, they were hugging and they were kissing. They, my brother is Down syndrome, so they actually, as I got older and could take care of him, they would go to the motel once a week, you know, to get away from us kids, because Michael was always like right there. And so they would go to a motel so that they could have their sex night and not be interrupted. But they were very open about all of that. I was very open with my children about all of that, and my grandchildren. You know, I have a temple space in my house, and there's items in the room that are deemed sexual. You know, there's phallic symbols, and there's yonis, and, you know, which is Sanskrit for the vulva area. There's all of this stuff. My grandkids, you know, my kids and my grandkids grew up knowing these things, and yet I hear the embarrassment coming in. Like, my granddaughter's 10 now, and I hear the embarrassment, like, ooh, but she craves to be naked all the time, right? And that's fine. We we hold a certain space for that, and also find the appropriateness, because we have to talk about those things as well, is that yes, you can sleep naked and you can have these things, and you need to be appropriate. You know, you need, there's certain things that we have to do. So I think that we're embracing this time period, and also discovering what it is to be sexual beings. And I think there's a movement towards it. I think the movement is happening. I think that it's there, and it's a process. It's a process that's going to take a little time. And my hope is that it's embraced by more and more people. You know, that's my mission, is to bring Tantra to the world. Now, that being said, the sexual energy, the horniness, all those things that we're talking about, but also bringing the sacredness into that, so that it doesn't go crazy. And I think that that's what's happened. I think that because we've pushed it down, because we've done all this stuff, there's all the really, like if you watch porn, and I don't have a problem with porn. I think that porn is, you know, it's entertainment, but people look at porn as a means of education. And that's not what it is. You know, porn is entertainment. But also I notice in the porn, you know, if I watch some porn, that it tends to be male centric, and it's not always sacred. It's not always holding each other in a place of honoring and cherishing each other. So that part bothers me. That part is like, you know, women aren't here just to be used as sexual tools, you know, to get gratification from, because we also get pleasure from having sex, and we also get pleasure from our sexual energy. So I think that piece needs to be also addressed. And, you know, again, back to the book, I think that the more that we talk about it, the more we destigmatize sexuality, the more that we're going to bring that piece in.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You want to keep reflecting on that, Austis, or?
I just love what you're saying, and I agree on the sacredness. I really think, for me at least, where I am today, I would really like, to have a partner who would be in this journey with me, that we could, and I think I would need a lot of trust and honoring the sexual space we create together. So, yeah.
I would like to just open up an area also, because it's so amazing that also sexuality can be, you know, it can be there without even touching. So energy meetings, you know, when we are present, we can you know, we can be like in energy merge, energy union, energy orgasms. So there's so many levels also of of everything.
Are you playing with the Kundalini energy? What is it that you do? I'm curious. Now I'm asking, you know, for a lot of people out there.
Yes. Let's ask Lisa. She has a lot of answers. Yeah.
So Kundalini energy, you know, I think that there's a couple things about Kundalini. Kundalini, for me, that life force energy that came into the body to animate us and be our true life force energy that runs through the body. Now, there's so many things about Kundalini that people get kind of fearful of, and they're afraid, and then there are also these big awakenings in the Kundalini. So I think that, you know, what we're talking about with our sexual energy isn't necessarily Kundalini energy. Is it a part of it? Yes, but Kundalini is so much bigger. Kundalini is, it's the actual, for me, I really think of it as the actual part of the energetic piece that animates the whole entire body, that gives me that, that is me, my essence. My essence is wrapped into those pieces of it. And there's a lot to talk about around that. But awakening in your sexual center tends to be something that we go, ooh, that's Kundalini. And maybe there's a part of it that is awakening the Kundalini, that is awakening that spiritual piece of us that goes, hey, there's more to life. There's more to it than just, you know, getting up in the morning and drinking coffee and brushing your teeth and going to work and doing these things. There's this juiciness of being alive. And can we explore in the juiciness? And I think that's what really touches my soul in all of it. Does that make sense?
I think all pieces make sense. I'm going to add one piece there also. My bodily experience is that there was so much scarcity and shaming, of course, that I was really, in the first trainings I did, I was so scared. I you know, there were like really simple things, and I was really, really like scared to death about the most beautiful things. When I look at it, about touching yourself, you know, being beautiful to yourself. It was like, no, you know, there are all these different. There's so many layers of, you know, over the generations, kind of, you know, turning us off, turning us, be proper, you know, being your, you know, like in the mask and in the role and everything, instead of feeling what's happening inside the body. It's like two different, complete different. It's like looking good, putting on a shield, or being, you know, present to what's happening. And that's kind of what's collapsing. You know, to me, it has kind of collapsed. The outside shield, I don't want it. When I was in the armoring training, all of a sudden, I couldn't think of putting on mascara again. To me, I'm here, you know, like cleaning myself as well as I can of all these memories and blockages, and so I can be just and experience life as beautiful as possible. Should I put masks on top? No. My hair is gray. You know, this is what I look like. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I even had people, when this happened, I even had people said, "Are you sick?" You know, because I did not look. Yeah, for you, real, of course, because it used to be black around. Yeah. So I just thought, you just have to get used to it. You know, this is how I am. I'm preparing me. I'm every day is my choice. How do I want to use this moment to be able to meet someone else in this amazing, you know, merge.
Wow.
So I kind of live for that. You know, yeah.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I would like to do that too. All the hair coloring and, you know, the mascara and all that. Wow, I think that's amazing.
Everything is like layers from the bliss. You know, there's so many things that are. I also since this summer I tried to eat without sugar and wheat and, you know, all kind of things. All of a sudden my body is not asking for sugar. So all of a sudden this whole energy, this whole attention of the mind and the body pulling that, it's gone. Yeah. So there's so many different addictions and masks and layers that is so interesting to start to play with, because it's a play. I like it's playful discovery.
Yeah.
And freedom. You talk about being free. You know, this is getting rid of all the you know, what has been put on from the society and the upbringing of, you know, the layers that you're ripping off yourself.
Yeah, but no one told me you need to put on mascara. You know, no one told me all that. So it's my choice from what I see around, trying to fit in, you know, just like human beings do. It's very, very, you know, it's very beautiful. It's just how like, in a way, insecure, trying to do life right, following some kind of something from outside, opposite to what does body say, what does this want, it's something else. And today that's so amazing.
So can I ask you about your marriage? Is the sex, how far do you take it? Because you talk about being sexual all the time and having the freedom of connecting and moving each other, people you meet. And is that how far do you take the freedom?
Yes. Well, what do you mean? Far do you take? Do we?
Yeah. Is it allowed to have a sexual connection? I'm asking from a space that I feel like I don't know anything now.
Yes. Well, there's nothing right and wrong in any, everyone decides for themselves. For me, we have created this amazing foundation that is, our together sex life, which we have this rhythm in now, which works for us, which is awesome and brings a lot of joy and kind of our fundament. And then we live together with, having produced 4 children and bringing them up and house and, economics and, everything around like a whole family. So that always comes back to, that is so valuable, so that's the foundation. And then having interactions in like sensual interactions and being close to other beings, yes, of course, beautiful. Yeah. So and that kind of is like spices, or and it doesn't matter if there are like Lisa, we had a lot of different interactions in Bali, or women or men, or it's just it's like experiencing your own body, you get like a new experience with a new being. So you get so, it's like such a bouquet when you allow that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, the sexual energy, again, when we're talking about sexual energy, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're having sex, right? It's still a place that we come from, of our sexual energy, that creative life force energy that just lives within us, so that we're experiencing our lives on a more sensual level. We're actually opening up these spaces, like I was saying, looking at a tree and feeling this orgasmic bliss within, like, being with a friend. And I think about Matilda, when we were in the pool and we were doing some massage in the pool, and I was holding you and just gently embracing you and stroking on your arm, or moving you through the water, that Watsu kind of massage that happens in the water, how orgasmically blissful that is. And we're not having sex, we're experiencing sexual pleasure, sexual energy. We're experiencing blissfulness, orgasmic blissfulness. And yet it's not all based in our sexual centers. It's not all in the genitals. It's, as we learn more about moving sexual energy through the whole body, then we realize that there's so much more that we can experience, just like you were talking, just taking my hand on my arm and going, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And I get tingles all over my body, and how do we do that? We do that by doing it more, right? And we start developing practices that we can have those experiences and really come in. But Matilda, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So part of this, you had said, or you have said, that you have this spear around. You've wrote the book, You got all the words out, and now there's some fear in there. And so I'm curious if you would share a little bit about what your fears are around that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's very obvious and very concrete. It feels like, oh, you know, like the shame of the world, or you know, it's like death threatening. Can I allow people to hear my words of me describing my body, and you know, what will happen? You know, it's just some it's like getting out of the closet. You know, this must be something like that. I haven't done that in this level, so this is my getting out of the closet. Yeah, like showing up. You know, the sexual being I am. I'm kind of showing that. Yeah, and what happens then? You know, well, how? You know, will I be executed? You know, that's kind of, oh shit, can I walk around on the street, you know, having showed that, you know, how is that? Yeah, like that.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing some of that. I mean, it's such a, you know, to hear those pieces that you get to overcome, that you get to experience, and yet you wrote this beautiful book. You put these words together. You are bringing this into the world. You're birthing this. This is your baby, and all the good that will come as a result for many people who can connect with it. And I would imagine that there's going to be some that don't.
Yeah, and the whole, that's why this idea of bringing you together, you know, sharing with me, and kind of, it completely supports me, you know, and hopefully you also, but the like the whole process of because in a way the book is not about me as much as it's me who's writing, and I even put myself on the cover. Yeah, because it is no makeup, it's just an old lady, you know, it's like a selfie from every day. That's how I want it. It's like for me, it's, you know, it's like a painting, and it shouldn't be changed of some reason. I don't know all the reasons, but that's just the feeling I have. So what I wish that is that the reader kind of mirrors something, and it kind of starts something in the reader. But it's really not about me. It's about that everyone lives, you know, in a body, you know. Ta-da! You know.
Ta-da!
Here in the foreword, you say, you know, everything about this, that this is actually, but actually you putting the words on paper, and we take it or leave it, and you wish for us to be moved, and I was moved. And I would like to say that when someone writes in this way, being so authentic, there is no way to criticize or, you know, not accepting it and actually liking it. And I admire you for what you've done. So
thank you very much, and thank you for being moved. You know, thank you for looking into only one chapter to start with, and to recognize your own feelings. You know, that's like the gift to me, really.
I know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Any last reflections before we start to complete slowly?
I just wish for this book to be appreciated everywhere, you know. And yeah, I look forward to read it, the whole thing, and yeah, learn more about myself and my freedom.
Yay, myself and my freedom. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for doing this. Thank you for putting it out and sharing your experiences, so that other people may glean some of that and find that with that courageous part of themselves to open up into these spaces and discover what living an orgasmic, blissful life really can be about. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking your time and reading a bit and sharing and just having your heart right here. So thank you very much for now.